good evening. Oh my gosh, we are on our way to the very first game of the conference finals for the ALTTPR League this year. Oh man, so we're starting off the Light World. We've got two amazing teams coming up. We've got daaanty representing the 2019 Titans Mids of 2019, facing off against Shareen in Triple Dino Disaster. These guys, not only great players, they are both admins of this league as well as on the recent council members. This is, these guys are very well acquainted with each other, and this is going to be an awesome race. My name is Claire Mouse. I'm joined today by CJ. CJ, how are you doing?
I am doing great. I'm excited for this match. These are two teams that have very different paths to the conference finals. The 2019 Titans Mids of 2019 going to 2 Game 5s to make it to the conference finals here. Meanwhile, Triple Dino Disaster 3-0ing both of their matches up to this point. So we'll have to see how that kind of plays itself out, if that extra kind of pressure that the Titans Mids have already faced this playoffs have harden them a little bit, or if Triple Dino Disaster kind of their triumphant run through the playoffs this year.
Absolutely. In fact, as you mentioned, the Titans Mids of 2019 has actually had quite the tumultuous and dynamic journey here to make it to the top 4. So this should be very much of an awesome race to watch.
Yeah. So today we've got just a normal open seed. Both these players are runner number 1, and the first game is always just an open seed, so nothing fancy that we have to prepare ourselves for. It's going to be the most common randomizer that you typically see with Link to the Past, so we'll have to see. About the biggest thing we can debate before the match starts is Uncle Route or Sanctuary. And both of those start at Links.
Yeah, we're picking up some nice cash we can use. Where is daaanty going? I guess you are. Okay, first gonna get a matchup. It's like green pendant on Hera and that's it. But yeah, as you said, CJ, looks like daaanty is going to head over straight to the Uncle's Tunnel. See what our friendly relative has for us today.
I know that. Shareen likes to mix up the route a little bit. Getting those 300 rupees right off the bat, you're going to see he's going to buy 10 bombs here. He's probably going to go check out Sahasrah's closet with the back of that and potentially take that over into a Sanctuary start. If you have a way to get away from the Uncle route, it's kind of nice to come back when you can beat Escape, especially if you have boots, or if you could wait somehow and loop it in with your pyramid check or different things like that. So immediate some divergence. We do see powder in the Uncle route as well as a piece of heart. So that powder could be interesting if we find the hammer for Kakariko.
Yeah. These are really great points that you're mentioning here. Especially for these two runners, it's going to be very difficult to try and give up some time versus the other runner. Holy hell! What a loadout from Sahasrah's closet in the back there. Shareen picking up quite the bounty. Nice late game item of the Crown of Sumerian, which is also an early game weapon. But more importantly, we've got that glove, which means we can access that escape immediately. Yeah,
this is a huge payoff for Shareen going up to that Sahasrah check early, because, like you said, you now get back of escape. If you find a key, you could try to go and do Dark Cross. You would have to find magic first, because throwing a bomb at the rat is a little iffy. You'd rather use the Cane of Samaria and just push it there. But yeah, this could pay off depending on what Shareen's able to find here. Again, the longer that you can put off Kakariko and potentially get a bottle or a flute, things that save you a trip to Kakariko maybe later on, the better. And Shareen does pick up that magic, so we might see him, if he finds that small key, and there it is, go to Dark Cross with that red cane, but choosing not to.
Yeah, meanwhile, daaanty, after kind of visiting the Uncle, finding that powder, and, looks like it's going to take a little bit more traditional route, going to head over to Kakariko immediately. Neither runner at this point looks like they have anything really, I guess, like that could probably save them another trip to Kakariko, but hopefully daaanty's going to, be able to find everything he needs here, right here in the village.
Yeah, and Shareen, not staying away from Kakariko, doesn't want to go there. I'm going to get a dam check here. We'll see if he takes that over into Agina or over into Mini Moldorm Cave and the rest of South Shore there, as we get just $20 on the bottle vendor. Not a great find there, and not much in the dam either. You're going to see here that daaanty is still looking for bombs, so Gonna have to buy bombs from that shop down there. Unfortunately, no bombs on the bush crab, no bombs in Lost Woods. We'll see if there's some in the tavern here, and there is.
Certainly daaanty is not hurting for money, but yeah, picking up those 3 bombs means that he doesn't have to go and spend an extra 50 rupees, and he can clear out the entire village.
Yeah, so Shareen picking up that heart. We are going to see a play over into Mini Moldorm while we get the blue boomerang out of the chicken hut. Most of the value in Kakariko is set to come here in the well and in the Blind's Hut basement area. So we're going to see a lot of value potentially from Kakariko here. And we'll have to see if putting off Kakariko is worth it on Shareen's end. You know, at this point, finding a bottle or a flute would be huge. But otherwise, you're not really saving that much time by putting off Kakariko.
Yeah, and especially since Shareen found the King of Samaria and he has bombs, right? You know, these are actually really great, viable options to defeat Mini Moldorms here. Oh, yeah. daaanty picking up his own bounty, finding our first sword of the game, as well as some more money and a shovel. So he's going to be able to check that dig spot immediately afterwards. Alright, Shareen looks like he is actually going to complete his commitment here in South Shore and heading over to Ice Rock Cave. Unfortunately, no real great movement items, because you ideally would like to put this off if you have, let's say, the flutes or the boots, but you know, you're kind of already over here, so maybe, you know, you'll find something good.
Oh, and those are the boots in Blind's Hut and the fire rod. So that is going to make daaanty's South Shore real quick, as daaanty is going to be able to run in all those straight lines that you get to do down there while Shareen walked all of this path. So those are some big finds early for daaanty. And this is one of those matches. These runners are both very, very talented, very skilled at the game. Those boots, having them a couple minutes early, could end up playing a role, as we do find bombos in Ice Rod Cave, so keep an eye on that. You know, if daaanty puts off Ice Rod Cave for some reason, that could be big, but we do find a bombos on Shareen's side.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. And you know, as you mentioned, so you know, daaanty absolutely picking up first that hammer from the library, but he absolutely knows how to use these boots to his advantage. It looks like Shareen is actually going to head over to Kakariko, so daaanty's at least a boost time advantage won't be too great over Shareen, so he's not going to lose up too much time. But you know, these boots are incredibly dangerous on daaanty's feet.
Yeah, looking like they were doing some remodeling there in the library and somebody left their hammer behind. We will happily take that. That is a great weapon early on, as well as just a moon pearl away from us knowing how to get to Dark World. So as soon as daaanty finds the moon pearl and then goes over to Sahasrah's closet, ooh, and a lamp. This is getting a little interesting.
Oh yeah, so you know, so combined actually, we actually can make it up to the mountain logically. So we have, you know, our lamp, our cone of light here to guide us and rescue the old man up the mountain, and we have that glove from the back of Sahasrah's closet to lift up that pesky rock. Yeah, and important to note here, daaanty opted to go and check out that shovel spot and not go back up and check Magic Bat. You find hammer early, you find powder early. It'll be interesting if Shareen makes that same call. With those boots, it is slow to check Magic Bat. You do kind of have to make a call because walking out of the Magic Bat area is not very fast, but interesting to leave that behind when you've been given those items so early and you're already right there at the library race game area. Yeah, and you know, like going through these runners' minds, especially at this stage, right? There are probably 50 things that are going on, and you know, most likely daaanty is just trying to weigh in his, you know, best set of options. You know, going to South Shore is certainly very reasonable, right? Especially when he has those boots, and you know, the density of these item checks, right, over something like Magic Bat maybe is, you know, swaying him at this point. Yeah, and chat reminded me, I completely forgot. Powder was on Uncle, so Shareen won't be doing that because Shareen did not do Uncle Start. So we're not going to see Magic Bat for a little while. We'll see if that has an impact later on, as we do see both the runners just kind of swapping spots here. Shareen is going to get those boots a little bit earlier in Kakariko, coming with the bombs already. And daaanty is going to make his way over to Agina Cave, which we have not seen yet. Which I do really like this play with the boots. You can check Desert Ledge, you can rush over there really fast. Yeah, we'll have to see if anything's over here. Yeah, especially oftentimes, you know, Agina's Cave and oftentimes Ice Rock Cave are one of those, a couple of those locations where sometimes runners just tend to not visit as often just because they are so far on the way. But with boots, we can get everywhere a bit faster. It's certainly going to be very comforting, for both these runners to be able to have boots at least for the vast majority of the seed.
Yeah, and having boots in a location like Blind's Hut like that, you do have in the back of your mind, okay, both of us are going to have boots. We're both on equal footing here. So we don't have to worry about finding boots somewhere and in the back of your mind thinking, did I find them too late? Did my opponent already have them? You're pretty sure that both you and your opponent are going to have those boots really early on and have them for the whole seed.
Yeah, and with boots, we actually see a lot of really just top tier execution from both these runners. Don't have to walk everywhere and use a lot of boots related techniques. daaanty taking advantage of the fire rod pickup, just demolishing these mini Moldorms.
Yeah, the fire rod definitely killing the mini Moldorms faster than bombs and Cane of Samaria did for Shareen. We'll see Shareen follow up with the shovel, but from here on out, you've got the gloves. Gonna get the lamp from shovel area. That puts some of the mountain in play. It's not necessarily a great place to go.
But sometimes progression, it doesn't really care whether it's convenient or not. If it's there, it's going to expect you to go there eventually.
Yeah, I think from Shareen's side, finding both the key and the map, we'll see an escape play here. Because you have that lamp now to do Dark Cross, but maybe not. Maybe we're going to the mountain.
This also could be like a box rocks checks, in conjunction as well, picking up those boots. All right, so daaanty actually having the boots, having a flush of cash here. I wonder if he's going to try and do a water walk into some out of logic checks.
It does look like he's setting that up. Yeah, we're gonna go and check out some of the stuff in Zora area. I have not been keeping track of heart pieces for daaanty. The scariest thing here is going into the Waterfall Ferry, opening the first chest, having it being a heart piece, and you lose your water walk without the second chest. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But we are going to see Waterfall Ferry here as well as Zora, and we'll see the item on Zora Ledge. Probably won't get it yet.
All right, luck is on daaanty's side here today, and no heart piece to be found in the Waterfall Ferry chest. So we're going to get a peek at least at Zora Ledge, and I'm not sure if daaanty has any items he can do some and sell a fake flipper shenanigans. I'm not sure what quite was there on daaanty's side, but if it's important, I'm sure he'll go back for it.
All right, Scamfish scams yet again. So we see the heart piece there. Wouldn't have filled up daaanty's health anyway, so my whole spiel about Waterfall Cave or Waterfall Ferry Cave was a moot point. You did see on Shareen's side carrying that Cane of Samaria block above his head with the old man. If you're actually carrying an item while walking with the old man, it does just a little bit faster. Since quick swap has become commonplace in rando racing, you see a lot of runners quick swap over to Samaria or to bombs and use those while walking with the old man just to save a very small amount of time, but it does go a little bit quicker.
Any amount of time that you can save, especially over a runner like daaanty or Shareen, is going to be absolutely to your advantage. You're going to want every time advantage you can get your hands on.
We see some blue mail and the book. So now we have on Shareen's side the gloves, the lamp, everything you need for desert.
Yeah, Desert's also a 5/6 crystal, so this will be very efficient, and this will also be, it sounds like it'll be a single trip over to the Desert Palace area for Shareen, whereas daaanty did make a quick stop in a King's Cave earlier.
I wonder if we're going to see that magic bat play on daaanty's side. At this point, daaanty needs to head over to Saha's closet, we know, for the gloves, but hey, Moon Pearl could still be on the bat here. That would be huge. There's tons of other items that could be big, and who knows when Shareen's going to do escape. So we'll have to see what pays off here while Shareen makes his way over to the Desert Palace area.
Yeah, so what's really left here, that these runners haven't really given us a peek at, so we certainly have the Front of Escape, and we have Dark Cross, which are totally in logic. And yeah, we have all of the Desert Palace here. Looks like nothing was on the magic bat, at least that is useful for progression. So daaanty is going to head up to the castle and hopefully get the rest of the checks.
Yeah, the good news for daaanty is that in the front of Escape here, you're going to find 3 items and then 4 items in Dark Cross because we already saw the small key and the map in the back. So daaanty going to get a good return on investment for the time commitment here. Having the boots, this is about as fast as you're going to be able to do this check without mirroring from Pyramid Ledge. So good item value, won't take super long, and we find the big key in the desert middle room chest there. Yeah, at this point, we're kind of on the viewer's side looking for where is that moon pearl, because that's going to be what opens up the whole world for both of our runners here shortly.
Yeah, and I actually really like this play from daaanty. You know, so not only is it early, you know, because sometimes, you know, the later the seed goes, the harder it is to come back to, you know, somewhere like Escape. Also, daaanty's still on relatively low health. So, you know, so assuming he doesn't pick up that mirror anywhere, he's going to be able to death proc out relatively quickly and look at your cross. Great, thank you, Harpies, for not refilling all of daaanty's health. Alright, meanwhile, Shareen here, further exploring here, Desert Palace, we found the big key and the small key, which means that we're looking at dungeon items. Of course, there's the compass, and hopefully we're going to actually get some real items, you know, worth picking up.
That's not what you wanted to see. You know, $50, it is a dungeon item, but I don't think either of these runners are too concerned about their money situation anymore, as we find nothing really in the front of Escape. Probably going to see a Dark Cross check here.
Yeah, so, you know, at least good news for daaanty. Even though he is on green mail, that green guard does have a heart of damage regardless of armor. So when Shareen comes here, even though he does have, he did pick up blue mail, right, I think? Well, so even if he does come here with blue mail, it'll be the same amount of damage. So as you mentioned, CJ, with the fire rod in hand, everything we need to clear out of Desert Palace, Shareen's going to most likely be claiming our first crystal relatively shortly here.
Yeah, with that full heart and Dark Cross, we've seen, at this point, we're only 15 minutes in, but we've seen a lot of the light world already. I'm trying to think. We've got Eastern Palace left as a location with a couple of checks that we could do. Outside of that, we're running pretty thin in terms of in-logic things that are still available to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, so we still have this one item here left on Lamo, I think. And yeah, you know, as you said, Eastern Palace is somewhere that neither runner has been. Not super appealing, of course, to go visit Eastern, but Eastern is a pendant. So even if you don't have the bow, it might still be worth dipping in.
And daaanty gonna grab his gloves here, so probably gonna see daaanty follow down into Desert, but might take a dip into Eastern. daaanty actually doesn't have as much to do right now. So it does look like daaanty is going to make his way over to Eastern. That is one of the benefits to, you know, not going to Saha's Closet early, is that early on, you don't have a weapon really. You're not going to dive Eastern super early on unless you somehow get a bow in your first couple checks there. We will see this, and this seems to be likely, you know, where that progression is. Now, that progression could be Moon Pearl, but it could also be a cape or a Master Sword to get us into Aga Tower to do something funky there. So we'll just have to see. You know, we could also find Hookshot. There's a lot of items out there still. Mirror that would open up a lot of things in this game for us.
Oh yeah, especially if oh man.
Yeah, why did I say something?
Oh man.
Why did I say cape? I didn't mean it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, first item here in Eastern Palace is that auspicious cape that grants us now complete access to the top of Hyrule Castle, otherwise known as either Agnus Tower or Castle Tower.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's fine. We're gonna find a hookshot here, right? We'll find a hookshot over here.
Yeah, of course. You know, there's plenty of item checks, you know, left. You know, certainly at least from daaanty's perspective, you know, there's all of Eastern Palace, and he hasn't been able to mount yet at all. So
Yeah, I'm looking at chat a little bit. Somebody's saying Caster's Curse. That's about the fastest Caster's Curse I think I've ever been able to pull off. That was a quick one, but yeah. So if we don't find Hookshot or Mirror or Moon Pearl in Eastern, very likely that the progression will be something on Pyramid Ledge, I guess, unless I'm missing something in my quick kind of scan through what's left here. Yeah, we'll just have to see. Hopefully, there it is. There it is.
Easy Moon Pearl Dark World access. No worries whatsoever. That cape was purely there either for bumper ledge or nice safety. The game is very is very hospitable for both our runners today.
Yeah, so for daaanty, gonna go Dark World. I like that play over Desert Palace here. You've already made one trip over to Agena, and you're hoping that you can loop in Desert maybe with Swamp Palace or Mire or something later on to make it a little bit more convenient. Even Purple Chest, you don't want to run back and go back to Desert as we get a second map check here for the Dark World. We get a Pendant in Skull Woods, and our other 5/6 crystal is Swamp Palace.
Yeah, so we'll end up seeing what route daaanty ends up taking. A very common one, of course, is to head over to Palace of Darkness. No bow, unfortunately.
Ooh, Mitch.
Oh, jeez, yeah, nice hype game today. Oh, immediately checking out. Okay. And daaanty now having the full Dark World access open to him, especially with those mids, he has quite the options open. Looks like maybe this is going to be a quick Keystone check for him. And maybe combine that with the backup escape, because he ended up never going there after picking up the glove from Sahaswala.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I don't think we saw daaanty do that check. So Shareen also setting up a Death Warp here with a bomb. Gonna go back and do Dark Cross as daaanty cleans up some of the remaining overworld here. And I do like this. You end up with the mitts after Hype Cave. It is somewhat nice to go over to Dig Game to make it so that after Village of Outcasts, you're kind of guaranteeing yourself that north route. But if you can find a mirror, you can do all that stuff with Smith Chain potentially. So I don't hate the fact that daaanty left right after Hype Cave and is going straight into a crystal dungeon here in Thieves Town. Also with the Fire Rod, you have Skull Woods. So yeah, it's a pendant, but maybe I don't think so. I think with the mids, you're looking for maybe flippers for Ice Palace at this point.
Yeah, we see a little bit of a muscle memory there probably from daaanty thinking, and suddenly remembers like, oh yeah, I have to miss. Finding a Master Sword here in chess game, spending a paltry 30 rupees out of his 700 something. A really economic buy there. But yeah, as you said, we have Thieves Town, we've got the hammer. It is a crystal dungeon. There is zero reason not to go in here. Wouldn't it be super nice if daaanty ends up finding the mirror here in Thieves Town as well? So far, not as lucky.
Yeah, we are seeing Shareen do that magic bat before finally going to Eastern. daaanty, by not going to the mountain and not getting that book, Desert was never a play. We'll have to do it eventually, but there are ways that you can make Desert more efficient down the road to clear. Shareen does have that Desert Palace, but daaanty having the boots a little bit earlier, having that Dark World access already. Shareen looks like gonna head over to Eastern Palace, so we'll have to see. When Shareen gets that Moon Pearl, does he follow in daaanty's footsteps, or does Shareen maybe do a Pyramid Catfish play, or all the way to Dig Game or something like that? We'll just have to see.
Yeah, and as you said, because we found so many, kind of like base items, right, that just opened up a whole scene for them, right? Divergence here. Even earlier on, these runners had, quite the different paths so far in the scene. Having this, and like the hammer and everything else, basically, just is gonna potentially drive these runners even farther apart. daaanty being very health conscious, certainly don't blame him at all. Putting that powder he picked up to very excellent use here.
Yeah, it's easy to forget. These, with a Master Sword, these little crickets, grasshoppers, hurt more than you'd think. They don't look very threatening, but they do 2 hearts of damage on green mail, and though we did see blue mail, it is mirror locked, so neither runner has that quite yet. And they do hurt, and daaanty was down low health, so not a bad idea just to grab that fairy and heal up real quick.
Yeah, especially at this stage in the conference finals here, versus a player like daaanty and Shareen, taking a death is absolutely going to be costly, because that is going to be time that you cannot make up. Alright, Shareen looks like in Pendant Eastern, he's going to go pick up his Moon Pearl out of the big chest relatively quickly. One of, actually both runners you'll be just getting the boots early. Eastern Palace, Desert, as well as Thieves Town are really nice dungeons you'll have the boots for. Now, unfortunately, Shareen did do Desert without the, he did have boots, right?
Yeah, Shareen full clear Desert, so there's nothing to worry about there on Shareen's side. But at this point, looking kind of at what's transpired, I think that daaanty might have a little bit of a lead at this point, but there's still so much left in the world that it's really hard to say, as we do find a bottle with a fairy in it in the big chest of Thieves Town. That is our first bottle, and a nice safety to have for the rest of the seed. That fairy, if you get into a pinch, could save definitely a lot of time if you die somewhere inconvenient.
Yeah, the hope is that they're going to be able to find that mirror before they have to kind of use that or remember that they have to area the bottle and death roll again.
Another interesting thing about that bottle with a fairy is that does open up the ability to full clear Palace of Darkness, except for the boss without that bow. You can use that fairy in a bottle to activate the camera unlock glitch that, if you've seen pod done without a bow, a lot of runners choose to use instead of the mimic clip, where you clip the mimics off screen and send them, to who knows where. But we are going to see Shareen grab the mitts. We'll see what he does next here as daaanty gets his first crystal. So tied up at one crystal apiece.
Shareen's crystal is just slightly tinted a little shade of red versus daaanty's. It looks like no real progression outside of the bottle, of course, that you mentioned in Thieves Town. But yeah, it's going to be the first crystal under daaanty's belt. All right, Shareen not saving and quitting outside of Hype Cave. Looks like he's going to take those mitts and do the south route going to Village of Outcasts. So he's going to be able to check Stumpy. He's going to probably be able to, as soon as he gets unbullied by these guards here, make his way up. He might be able to take this myth along, but probably going to also make his way to Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, with those mitts, you can enter the Village of Outcasts from below. Not a huge deal. I like this route south. It does kind of leave Smith Chain in a really gross spot later on. But it also makes it to where after Village of Outcasts, when you're done with it, you're going the north route. You don't have to make a decision and let that weigh on your mind of, did I make the right decision by going north or south outside of Village of Outcasts? Shareen will only have one option, as we do find the hook shot. So that opens up a lot on the mountain.
Oh yeah, pretty much everything. Of course, we'll have getting that mirror will be able to make our Death Mountain business much more efficient. But oh heck yeah, like we've got that Dark Death World Mountain, we've got Light Death World Mountain. There is quite the plethora of items up there, just waiting for daaanty to be grabbed.
It'll be interesting to see when we get to that point how the runners kind of route Death Mountain, because there are a couple of awkward spots in Death Mountain, Spiral Cave and Spike Cave and things like that you don't necessarily want to do early, and you kind of want to wait on them. But with the cape, with Half Magic and the hammer, that puts Spike Cave in logic, and then of course you have Spiral Cave. So we might see a pretty efficient mountain route from the runners. We might see them go Spiral Cave before going to the right side at all, or something like that, or sorry, the left side of Death Mountain. Should be able to clear it pretty efficiently, but it'll be nice to watch them kind of go through it as Shareen picks up his hookshot as well, and is doing the Smith, interestingly enough.
Yeah, so even though we do see today Swamp Palace is a crystal, so that mirror is going to be hard required, but right now you don't have the mirror, so it could also just be, potentially one of his best opportunities in order to turn it Smith. Shareen already putting that hook shot to great usage, seeing how we can actually combine using hook speed with the boots to get himself just a little bit of extra time getting himself out of Kingston. Oh, are we gonna get simultaneous dwarf turn-ins here on our runner sides? Who do you think's gonna win, CJ?
I think daaanty has the lead currently, but I have seen daaanty bonk once. I don't know if I've seen a Shareen bonk, so I think that could change the lead, but it does look like daaanty is going to get there first. Jeremiah, first place is left Jeremiah.
Oh, wow, yeah, but Shareen actually gained a little bit of time on daaanty getting that stair speed. All right, what do we have today for 10 rupees? We have 20 rupees. Okay, so we still got a net gain, out of turning the Smiths. daaanty, yeah, remembering that he did pick up a bottle here in Thieves Town is going to be pretty nice, efficiently, check for him. Be able to combine multiple checks. Unfortunately, also just another big 20 for him. But that this is just going to be another one of those things where it's not going to be orphaned, and daaanty is just going to put it out of his mind for the rest of the scene.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to see daaanty go up the mountain now with that hook shot and everything else. We'll find that book. Probably won't be too concerned because already has the Master Sword. At this point, you've already gotten so much value and it's been very efficient that you're not really that concerned that you could have done Desert early. There's not a ton of items right now that, other than maybe Mirror, that you would be worried about being in Desert that you could have had access to early. So, yeah, gonna see a lot of value up here on the mountain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the fact that daaanty has just been able to make so much very fast and efficient progress. Even if there is progression in Desert, he's probably really not hurting at this point.
Nah, I think in total there's. If I'm good at counting in my head, which I'm not, so and if I'm wrong, I know chat will call me out for it. But I think there's 19 items up here on the mountain plus. No, there's 21 items up here on the mountain plus Turtle Rock. So definitely huge value. You'd like to have the Mirror to route things a little bit easier, but when you come up to the mountain for the first time with your hook shot and your mitts and your hammer already, I don't think you're going to complain too much.
Yeah. So normally we would play the GT Big Key guessing game, right? So maybe we should also be counting for the Death Mountain number of items here if it's that close. daaanty showing us just the power of boots that he can wield here for us today. Not even needing a bomb, keeping his full health intact, picking up that book and making the return trip.
That is the floatiest, adorable dog I've ever seen.
Yes, it's like he's swimming. It's like he's swimming in air. Yes, as you mentioned, no Mirror in order to get that blue mail, so we're gonna have to let it sit pretty for the time being. But with that hook shot, we are going to get our first check into Paradox Cave.
All right, and the value begins, question mark, as daaanty ends up getting a little bit of extra health out of the bottom of Paradox. So we're top of Paradox? Top? Bottom? It doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah. That's probably a reason why it's called Paradox Cave, huh?
Ooh, that. Oh, okay.
The value, absolutely. So we were speculating about how it might be more efficient to have that Mirror in order to do all of the Death Mountain checks. Oh, daaanty just ended up picking that up.
Oh, that is just rude. Come on, that's just bragging at this point.
daaanty's probably thinking, I did it once earlier, I can do it again.
Oh man, so with that Mirror, Death Mountain becomes very convenient. daaanty looking like gonna go check Hera. Hera is a pendant. Definitely gonna check Ether Tablet here. I think you check the first floor of Hera. Maybe you don't dive any further than that into the dungeon, especially if you find one of the items. But at this point, if Turtle Rock is Bombos, it's in logic.
Yeah, that is a really fortunate pickup there for the ice rod. No ice, no rod hunts today. It means that, as you mentioned, CJ, if we have the requisite medallion for Turtle Rock, which is Bombos, we can definitely take a peek in. Yeah, and we definitely see daaanty here taking a quick dip into Hera. This is a green pendant. It very well could be him. Decided full clear. We see the quick swap technique of warping back to the beginning of the castle, the tower here with that.
We are going to see, it looks like daaanty... Nope, daaanty's going to decide to get out of there, I think. Yeah, I agree with this call. It's a green pendant. It would be nice to have, but at the same time, you've got so much other value on the mountain. Now that you have your mirror, you can do Turtle Rock. You can do, if it's Bombos, you can do Turtle Rock. You can do Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny Cave. And you can still come back to Hera after everything else if you really want to.
Oh yeah. We definitely see. We saw daaanty kind of dipping in, for a quick peek earlier. That first chest is super fast, right? So for time to value for a number of checks he has, it makes absolute sense for him to kind of take a peek.
As Shareen is finishing up blind, actually gonna go ahead 2 crystals to 1 here. Does have that Desert Palace crystal already. We'll probably see Shareen also make his way up to the mountain here shortly. Might see some North Dark World a little bit after this, but we'll just have to see what he does as we're going to get our checks in Super Bunny Cave, and they are $1 and a heart.
Yeah, we did get confirmation on daaanty's side that the medallion entry needed for Turtle Rock is either, so no dipping into one of our requisite crystal dungeons so far. But of course, it wouldn't be terribly surprising at all if we just kind of found the key under the proverbial hookshot mat.
I was going to say, if daaanty hovers in here now, then it's definitely bragging.
Shareen giving us a quick check up on Buffer Ledge. That cube is only going to be needed potentially for a spike cave or just a nice safety. Man, that was a terribly empty hookshot cave, I think, on daaanty's
Yeah, that was, you know what? After Hype Cave being really exciting and Paradox Cave being really exciting, I was ready. I was excited, but that was a dud. that was nothing.
Yeah, we even see, Shareen haven't checked Zoria, but he's sitting there with almost 1,400 rupees. And daaanty with a mere paltry 910 after having spent 500.
Yeah, later down the seed, Shareen will be able to loop in Catfish with Zora. We know that the mirror is coming. Oh my gosh.
Alright, so, not under the proverbial, close Dark World map, but, daaanty visiting Spike Cave, he's going to be able to go right back up and connect for the lock if he so chooses.
Oh my goodness. How do you enjoy riding an elevator up and down and up and down and up and down? Because that's what the seed wanted you to do, but yeah that's Ether, which means it's Turtle Rock time.
Yeah, picking out the mirror here shortly here, as seen on Shareen's side, as long as that ice rod, daaanty is going to not have to isolate anything in Turtle Rock because he's going to be able to full clear it, and also check Ruby Cave while he's up here. Now, I'm actually not as familiar if daaanty knows how to minute clip, but we're trying to take some options from stock here as to what these runners both need for go mode.
You would need a bow. You would need a flipper. Probably 2 flippers, 1 for each foot. The flute. I think that's it, unless Meyer is Quake. So the bow, the flippers, the flute are still needed to access Swamp Palace and Misery Mire. So yeah, if Misery Mire is Bombos or Ether, it's those 3 items, and there are 2 bows out there. One is usually hidden somewhere really annoying in Ganon's Tower, specifically where you don't look in Ganon's Tower. But yeah, we're getting there. We're just a couple items away from these runners being able to really rush these dungeons.
Yeah, we're seeing daaanty putting that a quick swap and a cape over to good use, saying he has a little bit extra time to do it, so he can just dash right through those rollers. But yeah, we're 37 minutes in. This is it looks like it's shaping up to be, quite the fast seed, right? Only just a couple more progressive items left to find.
Yeah, Shareen looks like gonna do Hookshot Cave. You know, I think we're gonna see Shareen do the same thing and kind of check Spiral Cave later on and then go back into Turtle Rock. It's gonna be a good kind of judge on what the difference is between these two runners, because when they're both in Turtle Rock, pretty much the only difference will be that Shareen has done Desert Palace. So if you think about how long Desert Palace takes, or the potential that daaanty is going to be able to go mode Desert Palace, it's going to be a good insight, kind of, you know, we're approaching probably close to the halfway mark, depending on how nice the seed is, that we'll have a pretty good idea of the distance between these two runners that they've kind of built this far into the seed.
Yeah, and I think daaanty is going to be able to have a little bit more efficient routing. You know, just from his perspective, about how things kind of worked out. daaanty finding the mirror afterwards, before he visited Desert Palace, means that because we know that food's going to be required and nothing of progression was in Desert, he's going to be able to combine Mire and Desert together. Whereas Shareen's going to have to make 2 separate trips. Yeah,
unfortunately, looking for 3 items, you don't get to skip this lava chest that quite often is skipped. It is a key, which always makes me think, hey, is the big chest a key too? Because then you got bailed out. Because the key logic can be very rarely extremely gross in Turtle Rock. But yeah, I think that, are we going to see Shareen go and kill Moldorm?
We might be able to get a fast check, you know, at least for this top chest here. He has no big key, but we're gonna have, I think this is a map compass chest falling down.
Yeah, and you know, the green pendant does get you an item, so I guess at worst you're getting 2 items out of this play.
Yeah, I think we ended up picking up both dungeon items from Hera so far. Yeah, so alright, so Shareen looks like he's going to, you know, further at least commit and kill Moldorm. I'm gonna get at least 1 item here, hopefully. You know, with the hammer, you know, the fact that he's up here is going to be a pretty cool grab. Hopefully. Assuming Moldorm cooperates with us.
Shareen doing a good job of accidentally poking Moldorm and remembering to get another poke in before spinning. If you accidentally spin, then poke, Blue Mail's not the worst thing. And there's Quake and TR, so we don't even have to worry about those medallions anymore over on daanty's side. But if you spin, then poke Moldorm, and then spin him again, he actually does get enraged on the Master Sword. But if you poke him a second time and then spin, he doesn't. So good little correction there on Shareen's side.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, so that blue mail is also really nice safety. Probably not quite the item that he really wanted to see at this point.
No, I would say that he was on his list of items that he was hoping for in Tower of Hera. Blue mail was not on that list.
You know, so suffice to say that he's probably not going to end up picking up what is going to be the red mail that we saw on top of Spectacle Rock. You know, sitting at least with currently at 13 hearts, Shareen's probably not going to care about any more safety swing as we see.
Yeah, I think you're good. 13 hearts, blue mail. I definitely think you're happy with that.
Meanwhile, daaanty here on green mail only. These lasers hit like a truck, so he's going to put that cake to good use.
Gonna have to be careful here. Green mail, definitely. Lasers not super nice. Laser skips, not the hardest trick in the world, but really annoying. daaanty does still have that fairy, so not really at risk of the worst case scenario here, but gonna take that safety door just to be sure.
Yeah, you know, so a death or, you know, he's just taking no chances.
And other than Quake, unless Trinex has something, which I'm not sure what the dungeon items have been so far. Turtle Rock, kind of a bust.
Yeah, most likely daaanty's going to finish up Turtle Rock and then make his way over to Spike King afterwards. And you know, maybe at that point he'll make another decision to whether or not to revisit Hera. But then after that, I think we are absolutely done with the mountain on daaanty's side. not going for backdoor strats here, just gonna kind of wait and make sure that, on 5 horse, certainly don't blame daaanty for being a bit conservative with his fight.
Nice little ice rod shot from behind the back there. On daaanty's side. Don't know if that was intentional or not, but it looked really cool.
daaanty is being extra careful. So if he does decide to take damage, he could try and ram himself into Trinex's shell, which actually only does 1 heart of damage versus the heads, which does a whole heck of a lot more. But he's at least passed through the first phase, which is by far the most dangerous. He just, oh my gosh, daaanty! Trying to sneak in a hammer hit there, got a little close for comfort, but good thing that he did only have 5 hearts versus the 4. Takes down phase 2 Trinex, no worries whatsoever. Picking up his last piece, not even a heart refill in this game.
Alright, so the difference is I think both the runners at this point have done each other's checks except for daaanty is through TR and Shareen has done Desert and the boss of Tower of Hera. Other than that, they've kind of done the same stuff. So the question is from here, what's the answer? I think we're going to see Spike Cave from daaanty. I think that's a good choice to do here. You've got half magic, you've got the cape. It's a good place to save and quit from because you don't really want to leave. So, but what after that is the question. You could fake flipper into Ice Palace if you wanted to. You still have Pyramid, you still have Catfish, you still have North Dark World checks. So yeah, we're starting to run a little thin.
We still have that great purple chest as well that neither runner has decided to commit on after turning in the Smith.
Oh, like both the runners, that is dead to me. I forgot it existed.
I mean, it is a very time-consuming check, and I can see that daaanty is probably trying to get some more density here. He's going to be able to pick up his blue mail from Moldar, and we'll see if he decides to further commit to the basement.
Chat bringing up a potential bow in Bowlock Pod. We don't know if Pod's bowlocked or not, but there could be a bow in Palace of Darkness. There's nothing saying there can't be. It's always a little trolly when that happens, but we do see daaanty also going up, and yeah, we're gonna see these runners kind of get back to neck and neck. Honestly, this race is really close when you think about the difference is Shareen's done Desert Palace. daaanty now, where he's at and where Shareen is at in Turtle Rock, it's a really tight race.
Yeah, another location potentially that both runners haven't visited is actually any part of Skull Woods. It is being a pendant, but there are 2 items still available for us to grab. We've already found a 1 piece of progression independent dungeon. There is nothing that stops us from finding another piece of progression in another pendant dungeon. Of course, it's not what you want to see, of course, but that progression does not matter or take care to your convenience.
2 of our 3 items that we do need for go mode, logically, could be on the pendant or pedestal. Pendant need 3 pendants. I'm losing it here, but you need 3 pendants for the pedestal. That's where I was going with that.
Yeah.
It is possible. I don't want to call it because I don't want to be blamed if that happens. But I'm just saying, logically, it's still allowed until we find them. It could happen.
Yeah, and we do have actually a potentially isolated location for both our runners, which is Graveyard Ledge. Shareen did check Bumper Ledge, so I'm not sure if he has much more motivation to kind of go over to North Dark Road, but daaanty at least hasn't made that check yet, so maybe that part is still open to him.
Yeah, for Shareen's side, he can do the Graveyard Ledge check into Catfish Zora area. I would think that's what would draw him back over to that. daaanty not doing Bumper Ledge or Skull Woods, I think, would draw him over there as well. So I don't think we'll see either runner leave that particular check for too long. We'll have to see when daaanty chooses to do Catfish, because to me right now, that's kind of a out-of-the-way check. You'd like to have... I mean, if you could find your flippers and then maybe you're doing Big Bomb and then you do it then. But we are going to see what's in Skull Woods.
Certainly for Shareen, yeah, if he can be able to combine, so because Shareen hasn't been over to the Zora area yet, to be able to combine Catfish and Zora together sounds actually pretty lucrative for Shareen's side. But yeah, for daaanty though, because he's already been over there, maybe he has less motivation. All right, so we've got Skull Key so far. First item is a heart container. thanks, Daaanty. He's hoping certainly that he's going to be able to find the second item here in the front.
Very nicely done pinball room by Daaanty, using that hook shot to clip through the spike there. And then that times it out perfectly that you can grab the chest and then the wall master will grab you and take you to the front. And Tempered, you know, I won't complain about Tempered.
Yeah, no, this is actually a really great find here for Daaanty. You know, both items in the front of Skull Woods music, we don't actually have to commit to anything unless we want to, you know, as you said, pick up 3 pendants to do the pedestal check. Yeah, and that Temper Sword is a really, really nice upgrade for Daaanty. Lots of great firepower. Things take quite a lot of time, especially for the
Yeah, definitely the largest combat upgrade in the game is that Master Sword to Tempered Sword difference. Makes a huge difference on almost every boss fight, as well as a huge difference on Ganon. As Shareen does get the second head down, running a little low on magic, but should be fine here. Gonna need 5 Master Sword spins / hammer hits.
Yeah, and speaking of bosses that you would really like to have the Temper Sword for, as opposed to the hammer or the Master Sword, Tridex is by far is also up there for the bosses. Alright, nothing in Graveyard Ledge, just a heart piece that is not even going to be worth anyone picking up at this point. Maybe this is going to be Daaanty's further trip in North Dark World, check Catfish. And then maybe, you know, he's going to run further south and do Pyramid check into Pod. Ah, yes, not having the flippers. Thanks, Daaanty, for that kind reminder. He's going to, you know, have to be a little bit more creative and bomb jump his way over to the other side.
Not quite sure. I think he might be a little low. Yeah, something weird was happening there. That looked like the right setup.
Yeah, you know, Daaanty cutting his losses, you know, pretty early, you know, when he does, maybe this is just going to be the alternative route up to the Palace of Darkness or, you know, the Catfish area. Now, of course, we do have the mirror, we do have the hammer, and we do have hookshot, which means that we can also go into Swamp. But we do not have the flipper, so we can't actually do anything in Swamp. Never mind. I momentarily forgotten about that.
Oh, I usually forget about that when I get to Swamp, so at least you remember now.
Daaanty is miles ahead of both of us. Alright, what do we have here? A 15-minute pyramid check here on Daaanty's side. Unfortunately, you know, because Swamp is a fast switch, we're not going to be able to combine this with Big Bomb. Oh, speaking of which, that's a pretty requisite piece of progression. Are we going to Swamp now?
Turns out you were never combining that with Big Bomb.
Yeah. Well, this does open up another 6 items for us here in Swamp Palace. We'll end up seeing that's to left side. It's still pretty early, or middle in the seed, so you know, still could be, you know, and there's still lots of options available to him. So he may, you know, choose to kind of put off left side Swamp depending on how many items he finds in the front. But looks like this is going to be our Swamp Palace dive. Maybe combined with Bombo's tablet as well, either before or after. Of course, you know, if Daaanty or you know, ended up picking up that shield from Race Cave, he would not have been bamboozled by that spear. Shareen, unfortunately, can't quite catch the Wallmaster hand elevator express ride up, but he's got that mirror. He does, and he's got the swap. He's going to pick up his Temper Sword as well in the front of Skullwood, so both runners are quite even here in terms of firepower. Shareen not going to isolate a Graveyard Ledge on his side, so he's going to go take a peek and he'll probably reject his piece of heart pickup as well. We're going to see if Shareen is more comfortable here with the current jump to get him on the other side.
I think at this point we will be looking to see when Shareen goes to that pyramid, because Shareen, having already done desert, could do Swamp Palace into that pyramid place. So Shareen may be putting off that pyramid in hopes of finding those flippers. So we'll have to see, you know, if Shareen does choose to put that pyramid off, how long or if at all.
Well, yeah, looks like he's not going to go over there quite to the catfish area. In fact, he's making sure that he doesn't isolate that pesky out of the way location graveyard ledge.
I think purple chest.
Oh, Shareen. Looks like he is more comfortable with the potion glitch as opposed to the fairy glitch here. Releasing that fairy and making sure that he has something when he eventually makes his way over to Palace of Darkness. Assuming he doesn't find a bow.
Yeah, that makes me think that Shareen is planning on doing Pyramid Ledge here soon. If you're going to go over to Pod, you're probably going to check that pyramid before you dive in there, especially without the bow.
Shareen, yeah, not even blinking an eye to purchase that probably slightly upscaled price of 150 rupees. Meanwhile, daaanty finding a very, very important piece of progression, which is our first bow in back to Swamp Palace here.
Oh so my, so daaanty is a flute away.
Daaanty's gonna have zero issues going to Palace of Darkness next.
Yeah, I would think that if Shareen routes Pyramid before Pod, he'll make the same play here. We still have Ice Palace with the Red Cane. That's 3 items that, you know, Ice Palace is kind of a slow dungeon. It'd be nice to skip Iced Tea, but that's 3 items that you could consider doing. But I do think that we'll see daaanty go straight to Pod from this.
Oh, daaanty giving us a hopefully 0 cycle Argus on quick kill with some hook dashes. It's like didn't quite end up getting it, only getting slightly misplaced after the first couple puffs. But really nice phase 2. So we're gonna end up picking up what's on Argus. Oh, which is the big key, nice.
Shareen picking up Bombo's tablet, $50. The last thing these runners need is more money.
Yeah. If they don't even have a flute to conveniently go over to the potion shop, nor do they have like, you know, more than one or 2 bottles really to put anything in. Alright, looks like daaanty is going to be thorough and go back into Swamp. Unfortunately, I'm not catch how many items is left, but you know, given that he did pick up a big key, it's going to be at least 1.
Interesting that this call, I mean, I know this is the fastest time to go back and do this, but you have all of Pod, you have all of Ice, you still have Desert Palace, and all you need is the flute. This seems like a gamble that a runner could, you know, if Shareen decides maybe if there's nothing here, he could save some time doing this check here, as Shareen is about to get his flippers. So we're going to see Shareen more likely than not head right into Swamp Palace as well. Might do Ice Palace first, we'll have to see. Both options are on the table, but you know, not mirroring. I wonder if Shareen's still going to, oh, he's going up to Catfish.
Yeah, because Shareen hasn't been over to the Zora area either. You know, this is going to be a really efficient shot for him, you know, because he's going to check Catfish, mirror right over, you know, to the Zora area, do his water flipper checks, and then you know, he can take a portal right into Ice Palace if he wants to. Alright, daaanty trudging his way through the tedious part of Left Side Swamp. Looks like he caught the glimpse that the big chests have not been opened yet. Unfortunately, just the compass today. But I guess I'm glad he remembered before he got all the way over to the chest.
All right, Shareen will avoid that $20. Doesn't need it. Yeah, I mean, this is a kind of big moment in this seed. If the flute is over here on Left Side Swamp, obviously daaanty is in go mode and therefore in a really good spot. If the flute is not over here in Left Side Swamp and Shareen chooses to skip it, all of this time that daaanty is spending doing these checks is potentially a time save if Shareen opts to skip these checks. So we do see a bombs and we're gonna see another item. It looks like.
Exactly what daaanty wanted to see out of left side swap. At least it's peace off his mind at this point. That after, it looks like he's gonna finish up his combo establish tech, and he is not gonna have to come back here ever again for the rest of the season.
Yeah, this will route really nicely. Probably do desert here. I do wonder if daaanty would go back for that portal to move it, because after desert you could do big bomb, but probably just start at Link's house and do big bomb that way rather than after desert.
Looks like you are correct in your prediction. daaanty is going to, even though he does realize that he can float over to the Mire area mirror to do desert, for all he knows that there is progression just sitting here in desert, and he is right here.
And this could be a big play on Shareen's side as well, going to Ice Palace first. If the flute is in Ice Palace, when Shareen goes over to Swamp, Shareen will hit go mode. So keep an eye out for the flute. It could be anywhere. Well, except for Mire area, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. It can be anywhere except for the flute lock locations.
Exactly.
But this at least is going to be good for Shareen because he ended up not go moding desert, and it looks like daaanty's going to have the exact same situation. So really, it's going to be a time loss or a time gain on either side.
I don't know. I've been wrong before, but my gut is telling me, you get that early Bombos and Fire Rod, and you get the early mids. I don't know. There's just a part of me that feels like early mids just screams go to Ice Palace, and that's both helped me and hurt me before. So we'll have to see if this is the play. I think that it's very likely at this point. There's not a lot left in the seed. Ice Palace and Pod both are very dense checks. Could have the flute. I think if you're one of the runners here, you're kind of hoping for stuff to be in dungeons at this point so that you can just stick to dungeons and get the rest of your items, especially on Shareen's side. You want to hope that all your progression is just in the dungeons you can clear as you clear them. And for daaanty's side, it's an Ice Rod hunt, but for a flute.
Yeah, kind of like the worst feelings, right? As time keeps ticking, is you not basically finding that progression that you really desperately want. Because I think like if let's say flute is the last item in Hera, that's gonna feel really bad for both runners.
Yeah, I would think actually that if you get to that scenario, that actually feels a little bit better than say. Like here, that mushroom, of course. Let's play hypotheticals here for a minute. Let's say hypothetically the flute is on that mushroom. If you're daaanty and you do all of Pod first, and then you find that mushroom and find flute, that's gonna feel really bad because you could have go moded Pod. So there are definitely worse locations right now for the flute to be in your mind. You kind of just want it to be early in a dungeon you have to clear, so you don't have to worry about it. You don't really want it to be late somewhere, but daaanty picking up that desert crystal does have both the 5-6 now, does pull ahead, I believe, with a 4-3 crystal lead. Shareen is about to tie that back up with an Ice Palace play here, make it both 4 crystals. So yeah, very clean cold stare. Oh my goodness.
Looks like, daaanty's going to do his big bomb play onto Pyramid. Most likely then, make his way over to the Palace of Darkness. He does have that green pendant turn in, which I don't think Shareen has done.
I don't think Shareen has done that either.
daaanty also reminding, at least me, that he still has K45 here left to check because he ended up picking up that mirror pretty early, but never ended up coming back here for it.
Yeah, so at this point, we know Purple Chest is nothing, but daaanty has decided that Purple Chest doesn't exist as well, I believe. Because checking K45 here, you're... Without the flute, or with the flute being your go mode, the Purple Chest is very low on your mind. So unless he checks it here, that's going to be very down, far down in his list of things that he wants to do. And we're going to see Shareen do Swamp here, and I like this because Shareen will be able to leave Swamp and go up and do Big Bomb as well. So Shareen gonna end up getting his 2 progression items from Swamp Palace. We'll have to keep an eye on, does Shareen do left side swamp, or does he gamble it with only 1 item from go mode when he gets to that point?
Yeah, and we did see on daaanty's side that there were in fact 2 items left on left side. So on left side is kind of one of those like, oh, it's kind of questionable, right? 3 items, you're pretty willing to go back in. With 1 item, maybe not so much. But with 2.
Well, and even on Shareen's side, it's not the biggest time save in the world. It's less than a minute, I think, in total. But if Shareen opts to do left side before the back, even where he can use that small key from that middle room to go and do that. There are ways that Shareen can make up time in Swamp Palace here, as we see potentially nothing in Waterfall or in Pyramid Fairy.
daaanty did get an extra heart container at least.
Yeah, so based off what we've seen, Pod seems very likely. Between Palace of Darkness and the Green Pendant turn-in, you have, I think, 6 items here, so that's a lot. And if all of that is nothing, I'm not sure if we got all 3 items from Eastern. I think we only got 2.
It was an hour ago. I also cannot help you, unfortunately.
I remember the cape and the moon pearl.
Those were definitely the important ones. Yep.
If there was a 3rd one, so chat is saying we did find all 3 in Eastern. So, if nothing's in Palace of Darkness, you still might clear Eastern because, Pen, like you are starting to run a little low on checks if Flute is not in Pod here.
Okay, not bow locked. Don't know actually if that has any implications at this point.
We are seeing Shareen skip left side for now. daaanty did this same strategy and then came back in after. So we'll have to see after Shareen finds his bow here, what his choice is after the dungeon.
daaanty is going to try and take a bit of a shortcut that he knows about. Let's see if he succeeds on making it through. Who needs a bow and Pod?
That's just not fair.
daaanty picking up some requisite small keys here in Palace of Darkness. Does not have to go through bow lock side at all whatsoever, so he's going to be able to just go straight to the back here.
As Shareen enters Argus.
Also trying to do a good kill. Getting a bit further than daaanty. Unfortunately, Argus, it looks like it just kind of moved, off to the side. His heal as well is going to have a 1-cycle Argus.
And of course, front of Palace of Darkness, key.
Yeah, the game's logic is certainly not as intelligent as both these runners. They know when things have to be, key locked, or how to use their keys more intelligently.
Yep, you have to have at least 4 keys in the front of Palace of Darkness, but can have more. It does look like daaanty is opting to do the boss first here, and then we'll go to the back of Pod afterwards. I like this call. If your Flute is on Helmasaur, it saves you the time of doing the back. Doing Helmasaur is going to take about the same amount of time either way, so do the thing you have to do first.
Yeah, with 1 item, being 1 item from go mode, right? Because daaanty has all 3 medallions, so he doesn't need to worry about entering Mystery Mire. If the Flute, as you said, if it's on Helma, you are completely in go mode, and you are going to be able to zip your way through the rest of the scene.
Yeah, and we're watching Shareen here opting to leave those 2 items in Swamp Palace, so Shareen will be leaving those behind. daaanty has the same thing. I think daaanty still has purple chest, so both runners have a check that they've decided that isn't worth their time. We know that both of those checks have nothing anyway, so it's not really going to hurt either of them. But we are going to see Shareen enter Palace of Darkness here, and Shareen has done Ice Palace, does have that Ice Palace lead, so again, it's really hard to tell, because if Flute is back here, Daaanty gets to go mode Ice Palace, which is a really fast dungeon to go mode versus full clear.
It's so tense. Where is this flute, man?
If we look kind of at our pool of what's available, we've got no items in Skullwoods.
Yeah, Shareen is remembering.
The hobo.
So it's hard to temporarily cut you off there. Shareen is giving us another check here that Daaanty did not end up making on his way over to the Palace Markets. 20 rupees of disappointment.
Yeah, robbing the hobo, but no music playing coming from under the bridge today. But yeah, like as I was going through the list in my head, we've got Green Pendant Turn-In as an option still that we haven't seen. We've got one item in Tower of Hera. No items in Skull Woods. We found both of those. Other than that, we're running pretty low on what's still available to us, which, can I just say, is amazing considering we're not even an hour and 10 minutes into the season. There's a reason that these teams are in the playoffs. The fact that we're running low on ideas of where things could be with only an hour and 10 past is insane.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, these runners are zipping by the seed. Of course, like they did end up picking up this pretty early, which is really awesome. But yeah, like these guys have been very efficient in their checks. We just see Shareen turn in the Green Pendant. Ended up beating Daaanty to the punch there. Just 3 bombs, unfortunately. So that is not where our flute is.
There it is.
Daaanty finding his go mode item in the Pal's Darkness basement. Shareen's gonna end up hopefully picking it up sooner rather than later. But yeah, at an hour and 9 minutes and 20 some seconds, Daaanty running over to Kakariko, gonna activate his flute. He is in go mode.
Yeah, this is an all execution battle now because Shareen is gonna find that flute really soon and does have that Ice Palace lead. So Shareen does have to beat Helmasaur, does have to grab that flute. And in that time, Daaanty is going to be heading to Cold Stare. We're going to have a really good idea of who is in the lead based off of whether Shareen activates his flute first or if Daaanty beats Cold Stare first.
Yeah, and similarly to Daaanty, I can only imagine that Shareen, after getting his requisite set of keys, he is also going to go straight to Helmasaur because he also is just a flute away from go mode. So, as you said, CJ, execution battle galore. Daaanty has his choice of which dungeons he wants to complete first. Ice Palace is the first one on his list.
Yeah, I like this play for Ice Palace. Daaanty will probably check chests that are right along the way, only because if you do find silvers in Ice Palace on the off chance, it makes Vidi in Misery Mire so much quicker. So I think we will see Daaanty check a couple of chests, hoping for silvers. We know nothing's there, but I do think we'll see a couple, and then both runners will probably be in Misery Mire around the same time. So it's gonna be close. This is gonna come down to honestly who has the cleaner execution in the later dungeons, Mire and climbing up the GT. Could also come down to what route the runners choose to do for the GT Big Key.
Yeah, as we're kind of seeing here, Daaanty chooses not to pick up that first chest here. Nice one. We know it has a big key, but because Daaanty just decided to skip it, he's going to have to go up to that room and flip the switch. So a really nice icebreaker on Shareen's side, just as clean here on Daaanty's side. No time lost, give it back to either runner. This is, given it's only game 1, this is the conference finals between both these teams. Nerves are super high. The fact that these guys are keeping their cool through the entire season is really is a testament to these runners' abilities.
Yeah, execution this clean when you know that, you're game 1, you're kicking the door in for, trying to get into the finals for your team. definitely can be nerve-wracking. And both these runners, very few mistakes, very clean overall run from both of them. Very different routes. It's been very interesting to see how two runners can take very different routes and end up being so close. It does look like come the end of this, daaanty will have a lead because daaanty is about to beat Cold Stare while Shareen still has to go and grab his flute as well as activate his flute. So we'll have to see kind of how much of a lead daaanty has and see how that kind of adjusts as the seed finishes up.
I can see that Shareen, there's a reason why you don't want sword beams for that turtle room, unfortunately. Because you really want the sword beam to not count for damage.
Shareen doing a nice key, very nice key dash from Shareen.
Yeah, daaanty, Cold Stare Pop's got a little bit away from him, but with that half magic and fire rod, he can just demolish them from anywhere in the room. Picking up his crystal, meanwhile Shareen is fastly approaching his helmet sword defeat as well.
Unfortunately, getting the helmet a little bit before the fireballs spawn, so not great. I will keep track of daaanty's going to mirror here in flute. When the bird picks up daaanty, we'll compare that to when Shareen gets picked up in Kakariko to kind of see how far apart these runners are. So that is a 1:13:33 for daaanty heading over to Meyer area. We'll see how much later Shareen will head that way. 1:13,
yeah,
and they're already in my. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and this is daaanty's last dungeon. You know, he's going to hopefully hope for a good Meyer big key layout, and then he's going to go and zip up that mountain.
Really quick while we wait for this cutscene, I do want to give a shout out to our tracker, CRUX, as well as our restreamer, our restream crew, and everybody involved here. You know, all of them behind the scenes do make it very easy for us to just sit here and talk about the game that's going on for you guys. So make sure you go ahead and give them a thanks and a follow and all of that fun stuff. And we're about to see Shareen pick up his flute here, and we have a race on our hands.
So 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 30-some seconds. Shareen is also now officially available, having picked up his flute in Pod Basements.
Yeah, so it does look like Shareen is going to be about... Oh, that's big because I know Shareen can't hover. Oh, daaanty doesn't make it. Gonna try again?
That's not gonna stop daaanty. You know, this key layout here is really fortunate here for daaanty. His hover's really all spot on today.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's gonna save a ton of time. I know Shareen can't hover, so that's gonna save daaanty even more time. Oh my goodness.
Really, this seed, daaanty has really shown us on multiple occasions just how dangerous daaanty is, you know, having his boots on his feet.
Yeah, so this is actually a pretty big lead for daaanty. It's going to end up being over 2 minutes between the two. Shareen getting picked up at 1:15:38. So that's a 2 minute and 4 second difference between when daaanty headed off to the Meyer area and when Shareen's doing it. Add into that the hover that daaanty just pulled off, which is a very hard trick. Hovering on its own is a difficult trick, but keeping it up for that long is even more difficult. And we're already on the Vitreous fight. Going to see some capes and dashes here, and then we've got a game that we like to play, maybe?
Isn't it nice to have a cape, you know, for Vitreous?
All right, well, with that crystal, there is a game we like to play. There are 22 checks in Ganon's Tower. And it just so happens that the big key has to be in one of those 22 checks.
Holy cow, did you see all these numbers just flying in chat?
I think the winning number today, you know, chat already knows the game. They've been around for playoffs the whole time. But if you don't know the game, the big key is required to climb the top of Ganon's Tower. And you need to guess that key correctly, and you will win fake internet points. I like to go with, personally, I'm a big fan of 13 or 8. Today I'm feeling like a 13.
Okay. Any particular reason?
No.
All right, that sounds good.
I just figure that if I'm going to ever win this game, I have to pick the same number every time, and I've been picking 13, so one of the days I have to be right.
That is the correct mentality. There's no fallacies here. Yeah, so I'm actually not as familiar with daaanty's GT routing, path. So we're gonna end up seeing there are a couple of different ways that people ended up routing GT. Some people do quick left first, go to Southwest room, and then potentially mirror out and do right side. Some people to go to Hope room first. We're gonna see what fancies and daaanty today.
Yeah, there are definitely, I would say, 2 really common strategies in GT, and then there's a couple of variations off those 2 strategies, which makes sense. There's 2 pathways you can go, so there's 2 main strategies. Sounds really silly saying it out loud, but yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, GT routing, certainly can't make or break races, so it's certainly non-trivial to be talking about different ways we route GT based on it.
All right, well, that's the end of the game. We see daaanty enter GT at 1:18:32. We'll see if Shareen has made up any time when he makes his way up to the Ganon's Tower basement entrance, as we see a small key on torch. That's number 1. Wrong key.
Yeah, daaanty's gonna choose. Looks like at least to go through all the way to Southwest room. And forget about right side temporarily.
That's a big no.
A lot of we got at least another key, but given that daaanty was not killing any of the stealth rooms because they can be actually quite annoying to terminate, daaanty pulled his mirror out, and with this actually route you are guaranteed a small key in order to go right side.
Yeah, and I think that was chest number 7. Don't think we're gonna see tile room as chest number 8. That's usually the save for number 22, especially in a race of this caliber. I think you'd have to feel like you made a major mistake to choose to go for tile room early in GT. So we're gonna see compass room here, and there's an option here. You could go full right down to Ice Armos, or you could mirror out and go left again if the big key isn't here. Fun fact: if we find a small key, the big key is guaranteed to be in this room. Compass room. Oh, never mind. Well, there it is.
Yep. daaanty checking these quick things, at least for silvers, hopefully. In fact, actually 30 arrows instead. Not quite the silvers we were looking for, but if they were there, Dan, that would have been sitting pretty here for daaanty. But yeah, with that big key pickup, we are ready to scale the gauntlet. daaanty has plenty of arrows now for these mimics. Hopefully he doesn't run out at this point.
All right, well, the big key was 8. It looks like the winner was Remain Nick, and also Garden Mega, Flintlock, and Luxaria also guessed 8. So congratulations to all of you who guessed 8. Enjoy your internet leaderboard points. Leaderboard for what? We're not entirely sure. I mean, it's the GT Big Key guessing game. We aren't entirely sure. I'm just trying to. I don't know here. I'm losing my mind. This is so fast. I'm losing my mind.
Oh yeah, daaanty, is more than happy to see that big key pretty early. Meanwhile, Shareen picking up his 7th crystal early, and he's ready to enter GT at looks like 1:21:13. Which did you remember what time daaanty entered GT?
It was, I said it out loud. I didn't commit it to memory.
I wish I remembered like 3 minutes ago.
I want to say it was like 1:18 something, but
okay.
I can't remember.
All right. Arturo here bailing us out here in chat. Thank you. One of our other veteran trackers for the league. Thank you. So it looks like it's like 3-minute difference.
So as we see daaanty climbing the tower here, and Shareen is going to probably follow suit with that Dark Magician route, I just kind of start to think back as to, what the big differences were this seed, and I don't think that there was anything that you could say like one runner did particularly incorrectly. It just so happened that daaanty's route of kind of putting off Desert Palace paid off because all the progression was, right in front of him.
Yeah, you know, and sometimes you just have to try and play the seed as well as you can, given where the items are. You know, yeah. So you definitely mentioned that one difference that daaanty and Shareen had was that Shareen ended up going over to the wire. It ended up kind of just daaanty found the boots a little bit earlier. daaanty found the mirror a little bit earlier, right? He I think only had to make one mountain trip up. In this case, where Shareen ended up kind of making it too. And chat,
get those, please.
Yeah, and further on, because daaanty had those boots, he ended up kind of taking some shortcuts that are kind of sounds like really only known to daaanty at this point, between daaanty and Shareen.
All right, Shareen does start the climb as well as daaanty is through torches too. Will we see a Moldorm 2 hover at this point? I think that saves like 5 to 10 seconds. I don't know. If we've seen daaanty do all the other hovers today.
Yeah, it looks like he did not actually want to check at least the left chest here in the mini Hallmark room. Is he going to try and grab that quick one here? Again, looking for silvers. Hey! Oh no, daaanty! Unfortunately, this attempt at crossing over the bridge didn't go probably as successfully as his other bridge crossings earlier in the seed.
Yeah, chat bringing up as well important things that happened throughout the seed. daaanty didn't do purple chest or catfish, and Shareen ended up doing both of those, and both of those are kind of time-intensive checks.
I want to say that daaanty ended up doing catfish, but I guess
he tried, but then he couldn't get the turn jump to happen.
That's right. He tried to bomb jump his way over there, and he was not as successful. Are we already at Act 2 on daaanty's side? Wow. All right, that was pretty fast. daaanty made that gauntlet look pretty easy. All right, first cycle out of the 3, he got 2 out of the 6 hits in from Aga. Oh,
2 again, wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Very nicely done.
Yeah, really
Those
nicely
were
done,
not easy patterns to get doubles on, and daaanty doing a good job of getting the triple double there. We're gonna go and slash a pig a couple times.
Tempered sword, silverless. daaanty sounds like he probably has some experience killing again with this damage output.
Yeah, I think both these runners are fine.
Yeah.
You're 15 hard, blue mail. daaanty might go down to the tree and bonk to get that fair. No, he won't. He's going right into Gannon.
Yeah. Yeah, I think daaanty can take quite a few hits, just in general here. I don't imagine him being, hit too hard, but he knows what he's doing. All right, hoping, of course, to get the 1-in-1 cycle. Looks like it's at least a reasonable pattern.
Not the 1-in-1, but a nice spot for phase 2.
Yeah, at daaanty, being able to kind of nestle himself into that little happy corner is going to not have as much bounce back, certainly, from the Ganon slashes. All right, and we have warping today. All right, that's not so bad. Already on phase 3 for daaanty. Meanwhile, Shareen is going to face over to Moldorm 2 very quickly. Not even going to check those middle chests. Of course, we know that the Aga 2 counters are seeded for both runners, so Shareen's going to have to battle the same type of formations that Aga 2 that daaanty also has. Hopefully, he'll also end up hitting at least 2-3 cycles. daaanty taking no chances, making sure he gets that torch glitch. He is 12 silverless spins away from taking victory for this race and the Titan's Fist of 2019. Doing a really nice job nailing his triples in here for every torchlight. Shareen quickly and skillfully takes down Aga 2. Looks like he is going to land to Gannon right as daaanty ends up defeating Gannon himself to claim first place in this race between Shareen and daaanty. daaanty just needs to cross this bridge and go through this fanfare, and he will finish with an official race time of 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 29 seconds. First place, get your GGs out in chat for daaanty. Congratulations, daaanty.
Yeah, big GG's. Very close race by both the runners. As you can see, Shareen dropping into Gannon right now. Both the runners, you know, it did just come down to those couple of lengthy checks as we are joined in the interview room by daaanty. Hello.
Hi, daaanty. GG's.
Yo, hi. Thanks for the GG's. This was something else for an open.
Yeah, give us your thoughts.
Well, I'm glad that I didn't get screwed by Hera Basement again, and I'm glad I didn't get screwed by Pedestal again. So, you know, it felt good having a normal 7 crystal, like, open, I guess. I was a little worried I threw away some time in Hera, and I also was worried about failing the Kern jump. I have been screwing that up so much recently, and I guess I need to go practice that instead of assuming I just have it down.
Yeah, we were talking, the whole seed kind of just had this era of you and Shareen were both very clean on execution and both doing things very efficiently. It just, you kept finding everything just a little bit sooner. You found the boots first, you found the mirror first, you found the mitts first, all that stuff, which ultimately ended up leading to the victory. I would say one of the big early decision differences is Shareen ended up going up to the mountain and getting the book, while you were able to find that Dark World access in Eastern with your Moon Pearl.
Yeah, that was a position of me being like, okay, there's 2 items, and if Hook or Mirror is there, I get more. That's a big if. Or, you know, I've got 6 checks, potentially 5 guaranteed over in East Light World, and I was thinking there's a pretty good chance he's doing this too. So I was thinking it's probably not too much of, you know, like throwing time away. And luckily with Moon Pearl being there, it was required, so.
Yeah, as we watch Shareen finish with an official race time.gg time of 1:29.45. Both of you finishing sub 1:30, which is insane because it's not like this seed was the most linear thing in the world. It does put the 2019 Titans mitts of 2019 up 1-0. So that at least has to be a good start, the start you were hoping for, daaanty.
I mean, anytime you get it, you can check a win in the column. It's good. I don't know what it's like to start out 1-0. We've always started out 0-1, and so we'll we're treating every game like it's an elimination game at this point, even though we've got 3, you can lose 2, but I mean, there's no, like I said last time, there's no easy opponents now, so it's like you got to bring your A game. And I gotta admit, I did not even intend to skip. Me and Shareen were talking afterwards in the race time room. Like, I meant to do Hobo and the Green Pendant turn in because I invested that time in the Moldorm and then going into Pod. And I was so sure that the Flute was going to be, because of that book and everything and the 5-6 layout, I was so sure Flute was going to be in Pyramid. And when it wasn't, I got so rattled. I was like, I've left an item in Desert now. I don't know what to do. I was like, let's just go to Pod and hope.
Yeah, we are also joined by Shareen in the interview room. Shareen, GG's.
GG's, Shareen.
Jeez.
GG's.
We got daaanty's opinion about it, but what are your thoughts on the seed just overall?
I thought it was not too terrible, but there were items all over the place. Honestly, like, it ended up being a pretty close race. I honestly felt pretty decent about it. I thought I had a lot of win conditions. I think sub 130 on this one is pretty good given all the different sequences. The hook shot can go poorly. The flippers are in a nasty spot. The Moon Pearl, of course.
Yeah, and, it just kind of happens to be, for this particular layout, that daaanty kind of ended up getting, some of the major progression items just a little bit sooner than you did. But you didn't make like really any wrong decisions or anything. Just sometimes it happens.
Yeah, the light world definitely didn't feel great. I didn't mind doing desert when I did. Like, I felt like all the routing was fine. Like, there wasn't too much time lost. Maybe a bit of efficiency on, lower equipment stuff. And then, honestly, finding the mitts into the hook shot, I felt like that could have been a big advantage. But, the mountain was just kind of weird. And then Turtle Rock was basically empty.
Yeah, I think in terms of item checks, like you and daaanty basically did pretty much the same things. I think so. I think you ended up doing like a purple chest extra or something like that. But yeah, other than that, in terms of coverage, should be pretty similar. You ended up gaining some time actually on your side from your, I think, GT entry into Ganon as well.
That always feels good, I guess.
Yeah, but I think at least it seems like on the insides of the dungeons, daaanty, you really showed off your boot skills.
Oh, well, thanks. It felt good actually, like having the game be normal again after that game 5 with Aerie, because the enemies were kind of wild in that one, so it felt kind of good to just be like, okay, I know what I can do this time.
Yeah, no, that this you guys ran like a really excellent ride. This was really exciting to watch. Definitely GGs to both of you. Really great skill to be put on display.
Yeah, GG to daaanty. I really felt pretty good about this one, and his time is insane. I actually just saw my collection was like a 161, and that's like a sub 130 with a 161. Like that's pretty good ratio right there. And like I'm happy with how the clearing went.
That's super good. My collection's a 150, at least that's what I'm seeing on my screen. So, yeah, like Drosty brought it up. Apparently, I skipped the back of Escape. I think I clicked it when I was clicking Dark Cross. So, oops. I guess there wasn't anything important there.
I think I skipped Sick Kid, so it's fine.
Yeah, there's some other things like Shareen doing purple chest and catfish, but at the same time, daaanty went back into Swamp Palace for left side. There was unique things that each side did, but overall, I mean, I can't fathom sub 130ing this seed. It was, you were right, it was kind of everything all over the place, and stuff was kind of hidden, especially those flippers. Having desert access, especially on Shareen's side. And only needing the flippers to get into Swamp Palace to go up and do, Big Bomb and Pyramid together would have been nice, but those flippers were not very kind today.
Yeah, especially given that pretty much you had to dip at least, so you had to dip Eastern, and you guys got a nice temper sword out of onto Skullwoods. But yeah, like it's not only to do all of the crystals, you pretty much do a lot of the pendants as well.
Yeah, the pendants were all quick dungeons. The 3 quickest dungeons in the game.
Yeah, I'm really glad I went back into Skullwoods because, initially I felt kind of bad that, get that sword and that's all you could get. But considering one didn't show up anywhere, I guess it was kind of a good thing that I did that. I assume, looking at the tracker, I assume you did that as well.
Yeah, my Skullwoods route was actually pretty good. I didn't dive vanilla big key. I got both items out of there on my second trip to Village.
Oh yeah, I did the same thing, and then kind of swept north, but that was when the Kern jump failed me.
It was a mixed blessing, daaanty, because nothing was over there, so it just saved you that check.
Well, I was gonna run, when I was doing that, my intention was to run to Catfish and then run down to Pyramid. And then I was like, well, I guess I could sacrifice Catfish for now. If something's on Pyramid, let's go there. And then I was thinking about going pod right then and there, which I'm glad flippers were there, because otherwise I'd have dove pod for basically nothing and then got sent on a rabbit trail into Mire.
Same.
Now, granted, according to what's Ganon's hint, I mean, the other bow was in Mire, but there's a weird, I guess there's a weird scenario where you get that, but I think you get a lot slower of a time. even with silvers. So yeah, like unless they were in like a super like convenient location.
Given where the Meyer Big Key is, especially for you, daaanty, I'm not sure how convenient silver's placement would have been.
Yeah, when I saw the hint, I was a little concerned that they could have been in spike chests, and even though like hopefully nobody has any reason to check spike chest after getting the big key on the bridge, but that's always a possibility. So
maybe we should start probably winding things down. Any last thoughts from you guys? I mean, you guys put on like a really great race. Thoughts about, I guess, like future games and matches, opponents, teammates, trash talk, words of encouragement.
I'm sure we're gonna win the next 3. So
easy.
I'm happy. I'm happy to take this series to 4 games. So GG to daaanty. He's got like, I don't even know, 15 wins in the league this season or something. So
no. I think it hit double digits either tonight or last time, barely. But I played a lot in the regular season. But yeah, like this was fun. It was nice, like not losing game 1 and putting my teammates in a bind, right at the start, because that's what I usually do. And if we get swept here, then so be it. Shareen, Schulzer, and Yoshi are like super good at this game. So like at least they didn't sweep us. But I guess Edium plays Yoshi in like 3 days, and then there's like a bunch of crazy matches with a lot of good teams. So it's gonna be a whole lot of fun to watch. And thank you guys for commentating and tracking all the volunteer work. I do appreciate it.
So certainly our pleasure to be able to watch this game up front close. Just looking at the schedule, it looks like you are correct. You've got Edium facing off against Yoshi Thursday at 2:10 p.m. And looks like game 3 is actually going to be on Saturday for you guys at 4:10 p.m. It's going to be Schulzer versus Nep. No channels assigned yet, but certainly keep your eyes on the schedule. And of course, thank you to Series X for tracking this game, and of course CJ, commentator. It's been fun. I will give the last couple words to you.
Yeah, that was a really fun match to watch. Both the runners took very, very different routes throughout the whole thing, and for it to all kind of collide there at the end, going into Misery Mire in GT kind of time, was really entertaining to watch. It was hard to see who had the lead until the very end. Both very, very good times for this seed, and I'm excited to see what happens in games 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Oh, I see. We're not.
Is that a precursor?
No. There's no game 5 here. There's no game 5.
Very entertaining to watch. Thank you to both of you for putting on a good show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and certainly best of luck to both your teams moving forward. Unfortunately, there can be only one team that comes out victorious, but we are on the edge of our seats to find out who that is going to be. All right. With that, have a great night. Lissan's night is going to be the last of the races tonight, but tomorrow at Thursday at 2:10 p.m. is going to be the next, at least a league match for the Invitational. But tomorrow, looks like actually tomorrow at 1:10 p.m. there is actually an open league game. It's going to be Wirewiki versus Death King. No channel assigned yet, but there's still plenty of random to watch. Until then, have a great night.